People believe that there's this magic equation where you can have certain keywords within a certain order and your video will go viral. They use various tools such as vidIQ and TubeBuddy to select the best possible keywords that can help them have the highest possible chance of ranking. But that's not entirely true. So in this video, I'm going to show you the best way in which you can optimize your videos, not just for views, but also for money. If you've posted any content over on YouTube that's gained any type of traction, it's likely you've received an email like this, someone trying to sell their services. They tell you that the content you're creating is absolutely amazing, but there's one thing holding you back: SEO. They're telling you that your optimization is not up to the level that it should be, and by changing it, you will be able to gain thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. They strike fear into your heart that you're missing out, that you're doing everything correct except this one little thing. Except they're completely wrong. This, in most cases, will not work for you. Reason for this is because they are using those keyword tools without that deeper understanding. So let me show you exactly what we need to do step by step. Firstly, we need to understand our target audience and where our main traffic source will be. Now, in most cases with YouTube, you're going to have four. You're going to have browse, search, suggested, or external. For these four, this is where the majority of your views will come from, depending how you optimize that video. And the reason that I say this is because not every single video needs to be optimized for keyword research or SEO. For example, with browse, those types of videos go onto the YouTube homepage. YouTube will share your video to an audience that it thinks it could potentially appeal to. You still need to do the legwork and have an understanding of your target market audience for them to see that video and ultimately click. That's where click-through rate comes in. But how it gets shared is more on behavior data rather than any type of metadata to do with SEO, keywords, tags, whatever it is that people are trying to sell you. A great example of this is Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast creates videos which don't just focus on one particular type of audience, so he doesn't need to focus on one particular type of keywords or any type of phrases for that matter. There's no keywords within his titles. It's normally challenges, something that's enticing to many different markets. There's no keywords within his description. It's links to other social media platforms, his services, his products. There are call to actions telling people to subscribe. And when you go and use a keyword research tool to see the tags that he's been using on the videos, he's never used any at all. No tags whatsoever, because it does not matter for the type of content that he's creating. It's going onto the YouTube homepage and YouTube is finding an audience for him. So if you're creating videos that are most likely to have a traffic source of browse going to the YouTube homepage, you don't need to worry about the various different keywords that you're going to use. What you need to focus on is your thumbnail so that once it is recommended, it is appealing to a broad market. You then want to focus on your editing. You then want to focus on audience retention. That doesn't mean high-paced editing. It just means keeping your viewers there, watching your video as long as possible. This really comes down to who you're targeting and your content style. And then, of course, optimization is really getting people to watch that video and then go and buy into your products, services, whatever it is that you're trying to sell. That's where optimization comes in with those types of videos. If you are creating videos that are more likely to go through search, suggested, or external, then keywords play a bit more of a part, but it's still not the whole story. If we pick a video that is most likely to gain a traffic source from search, it means that people are actively looking for something. And this is where you can tailor your marketing strategy to focus on common questions that your target market audience are asking or common problems that they're currently facing. Typically, these are the best two. You will then use those questions and problems to then find a keyword which is going to be relevant to answering that question or solving that problem. For example, I created a video which was showing beginners how to start within Premiere Pro 2024. My keyword was Premiere Pro 2024 because that was the software that I was using. I wanted to be more specific and highlight beginners, and beginners was more specific to the type of audience I was looking for within that keyword of Premiere Pro 2024. But beginners as a keyword wouldn't really do, because beginners of what? It's only once these come together where I get very specific on the audience that I'm looking for and also with the keyword or phrase that I'm really trying to target. So with it being aimed at beginners and the software that I was using was Premiere Pro 2024, it was time to expand upon that to make it a more enticing title, in which I called it Premiere Pro 2024 Tutorial for Beginners, the ultimate beginner's guide. Just making it a bit more enticing so that when it does come up into search, it's still people at the end of the day that are needing to go and click on that video. I've now highlighted the keyword Premiere Pro 2024. I've highlighted that as a tutorial. I've highlighted that's for beginners. And then I've also said that it is the ultimate beginner's guide. You're not really going to need anything else after watching this video, which makes it a lot easier for someone to come through and then click, rather than needing to go back and forth to many different videos in order for them to find the answer to their question or solve their problem. They just need one, which is mine. From there, we can then go through and optimize the description, where we want two things. We want to make sure that we're hitting those keywords, but for me, I'm building a business. I'm not trying to get ad revenue from YouTube, although it is a benefit. I want people to come through, understand who I am, build trust with me, and then go through, click the link in the description to book a call where I'll then sell them my service. That's the biggest return on investment for me. And it will likely be for you if you're building a personal brand. So this is the layout that we have. In the top line of my description, I will have my service. It'll be a call to action, which will be book your free consultation, and it will be a link to my landing page or my Calendly. For you, if you're doing consultations and offer free consultations, you could do the same thing. If not, you just need your call to action with the link and then to the service or products that you sell. Underneath this, I'll then have a short description. This is 1 to maybe 3 sentences explaining what that video is about. So in this case, it was me describing exactly what I'm going to teach you within Premiere Pro 2024, making sure that I do hit my keywords in there, learning how to edit, how to go and use Premiere Pro 2024, Adobe. All of these are relevant to that overall video, so I just want to put those keywords in there. Out of habit, and I don't know if this makes any difference whatsoever, but I do also copy and paste my title also within my description, which I'll just place underneath there. From this point, it goes into generic stuff. Any type of affiliate links, which links to my channel, my service, whatever it is that I'm doing, I'll put there just so I can get some additional revenue. I'll also link any previous videos. These don't need to be exactly linked to the video that we're talking about. So in this case, it was Adobe Premiere Pro. The videos that were recommended didn't really need to relate to editing. It was just more about my channel. I'll be honest, I don't know and I can't really track if anyone's ever clicked these links. It's more out of habit for me doing it so that everything is there, and for whatever reason, people scroll down to go and see something else. If they don't find what they're looking for, potentially there's a link to a video which they are interested in. Alongside this, I'll also link to any social media. For me, I'm mainly over on Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it. Still not used to calling it X, so I'll go and place that there. But if you've got more social media platforms which you cover, then also link them there. And also you can even include your website. The most important part to your description are the time codes, and people skip this time and time again. This is where you can add additional details and link to additional keywords or phrases. Your title may include Premiere Pro, but you may also want to go through on how to cut within Premiere Pro, which is going to be a common question. And this is where it gets interesting, because yes, even though your video by itself is going to be ranking over on YouTube as Premiere Pro tutorial for beginners, so you can have a time code which says how to cut within Premiere Pro, and even though that by itself won't be there to rank on YouTube without being the full video, what you can have is that exact moment that you've put as a time code to rank over on Google whenever anyone asked how to cut within Premiere Pro. And that's why this video ended up having its main traffic sources as YouTube search, but also external, because people were coming across it over on Google and it was ranked first. Make sure you're including time codes within every single one of your videos. Just under this, I'll also include hashtags where I'll include free. It's interesting because hashtags are actually a better way to search over on YouTube nowadays. It's just not that many people do it. For example, if you were to go over to YouTube and type in Premiere Pro, you will get Premiere Pro tutorials, and then it'll start to go into recommended for you. There'll be stuff that you've previously watched which has no relevance to Premiere Pro. It really does get weird if you keep on scrolling. But if you do hashtag Premiere Pro, you will only ever get anything that's been linked or has the hashtag of Premiere Pro, in which there's hundreds, potentially thousands of videos. And you can also use this to gain ideas. if you are creating content on that topic. Just do hashtag and then whatever it is that you're looking for. And if you're very specific, you know that you can find some really good breakout videos. These are the outliers where they have a huge amount of views compared to subscribers. That's a quick tip just to gain ideas. But hashtags are welcome to go and use. Not that many people use them, but yet again, out of habit, I still use them, even if it means that there's a small percentage of people that will actually use the hashtag to go and find content like this. After the description, you then have your tags. Tags don't do anything. It even tells you. It says that tags play a minimal role unless things are commonly misspelled. So it tells you there you can go through and do variations of misspellings. I also still like to go and put tags in here, fill this up to try and get as close to 500 characters as possible. Why, I hear you ask? Well, it comes down to those tools that I mentioned earlier, vidIQ and TubeBuddy. You can still install them, and even though tags play a minimal role, you can still see what you're ranking for, which is helpful for later videos. You know what you have a higher chance of ranking with so that you can use those to tailor content around within the future. And this is just something that's always worked well with my strategy. It becomes a bit of a habit now that it's just tied in, even though it may not play a massive role in the video itself. It's worth also listing a playlist or a podcast. That's of course a new option as of 2023. But with this, you want to make sure that you're categorizing videos. And this makes life a lot easier when you go through and you design your YouTube homepage. For most, there are 3 different types of videos that people create: search-based, browse-based, and then community. This works really well for personal brands because you can have that search-based content, which is what we're talking about, which doesn't typically get a huge amount of views, but they are evergreen. They are getting views for as long as that topic stays relevant. And the audience that you're targeting are very specifically targeted. Again, those questions, those problems that your audience are asking or facing. You then have browse, which is then a lot broader and has the possibility to gain tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of views, depending on the video that you create, how enticing it is, how good it is of a video, and also the markets that you target. These could be challenges, these can be journeys, these could be massive milestones that you've been able to reach. Just something that brings in more than just a single market. Just something that focuses way more than a specific problem or question. Then you have your community, which are normally interviews, any type of testimonials, podcast episodes. You can even include live streams as part of this. This will be much longer, 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes plus, potentially a few hours. So with this, what you could then have is a playlist on tutorials, you can have a playlist on challenges, and then you can have a playlist on live streams, whatever it may be that suits your content style. You may find that you have tutorials broken down into a number of different playlists. For me, I have content mastery, I have YouTube mastery, and then I also have business mastery, giving tutorials on 3 different types of points: YouTube, content creation, and then also business. Those are my content pillars. And then have my challenges and then also my journey for the stuff that I go through. And then I don't really do that much in terms of the community, although hopefully 2024. If you carry on scrolling down, there will be an option for you to change up your settings. This is where you can select the title to be English, the description to be English. You don't want to do this in every video. Yet again, I don't know if it plays that much of a part, although it is just good habits to get this done. Head over to your YouTube studio, go to the bottom left-hand corner where you'll be able to find settings, and then go and find your upload defaults where you can change these settings to always be the language in which you're targeting. So if your video is recorded in English, like this one, just make sure that everything is set to English. That way it'll be set for every future video that you also upload, making life a lot easier. It's also worth going back to what we said earlier with titles, descriptions, and tags. If there's anything that you're going to be using across these, that will be within every single video. It definitely saves you a lot of time to go and upload these to the upload defaults. That way you don't need to copy and paste them every single video. And that's all you need to do to optimize a YouTube video. We did mention some keyword research tools with vidIQ and TubeBuddy. I'm not against it. I use vidIQ quite a bit. It's plugged in. I've been using it for years. I did have the paid version for a very long time. I'm currently back on the free version, but I may go and get the paid version at some point again within 2024, depending what happens. Linking back to that email that I mentioned right at the beginning, that's what people do. They go and see your videos that you're producing and they think that this SEO strategy needs to be applied to every single video, and they'll just go through, type in whatever keyword that you're trying to rank for, and then they'll find a list and they say that these are the keywords that you should be using, when in actual fact they don't understand the full process. Just because you optimize a video doesn't mean that it is always going to be able to rank. There is some variables which you have no control over, such as timing. If you manage to create a video around ChatGPT the day in which ChatGPT was released, the chance of you ranking was extremely high. And then after that, because of the sheer amount of demand for it over the following months, would meant that you would most likely stay there just because of that increase in demand and people come across your video for the very first time. If I was to create a ChatGPT video now, a year and a bit after its release, it's gonna be more challenging. Not impossible, it's just that I now need to face other challenges and other variables in order for that video to get to the exact same level as what it would have been able to do this time last year. And not every single video needs all of these keywords. Going back to my video, Premiere Pro 2024 tutorial for beginners, the ultimate beginner's guide, that works well with search. That's what I intended it to be. But if I developed a video idea, which was, I created 100 videos within 30 days, even if I use the software of Premiere Pro, it makes no sense for me to include Premiere Pro within that title because it's really not there for that type of video. It's not me going specific, focusing on a very specific problem or question. It's more of a challenge/journey video in which this is going to perform much better through browse. So I don't need to worry as much about SEO, the tags, the keywords, none of that. I need to put more emphasis on making that thumbnail and that title as enticing as possible to a much broader audience, many different markets, in order for them to click and then also have an enjoyable experience as they go through that video from start to finish. If I did include Premiere Pro within that title, it would severely hurt that video. It wouldn't do as well through browse, and it's likely it wouldn't do that well through search because it doesn't cater towards a problem or a question. So this is exactly how you optimize videos for YouTube. It really comes down to the traffic source in which you're trying to go for, whether it's going to be external, suggested, search, or even browse. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn how to optimize your full YouTube channel, then I highly recommend clicking this video right here. That video will give you a step-by-step guide on exactly what you need to do to set up your channel and never worry about it again. I hope you enjoy.